All right, thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Jeffrey Thomas. I am the Executive Director at Lever, and we are going to tell you about an exciting new challenge program we're launching to support companies that want to help support the state's reopening. And this is a program that is funded by the Massachusetts Technology Collaborative and its Innovation Institute. And before we get started, I'd like to welcome our collaborator there, Megan Marsalek, who's going to say a little bit about MassTech and give a little bit of background on the program. Megan?
Thanks, Jeffrey. Yeah, MassTech is happy to sponsor the Intrapreneur Challenge. So we are a quasi-governmental agency tasked with supporting technology and innovation throughout the state of Massachusetts. MassTech headed up the Manufacturing Emergency Response Team as soon as the pandemic broke, which really activated the manufacturing ecosystem of Massachusetts to start shifting production to produce mainly PPE at the time to help in the COVID response. And so that program was called MERT, and it had tremendous success. And now Intrapreneur Challenge is MERT 2.0. It's the next evolution to get more companies involved in pivoting to produce any kind of innovation to support the COVID response.
Thanks, Megan. So what we're going to do is very quickly provide an overview of the challenge program and what's involved, what you might, if you participate, what your company might expect to benefit, how it might expect to benefit. And then we'll take your questions at the end. So we're going to move very quickly, and then we'll make sure to leave plenty of time to answer your questions. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So this is our webinar about our Intrapreneur Challenge. This is actually our second challenge. We are conducting our first challenge was really focused on face masks. This challenge is focused on goods and services to support the reopening of Massachusetts. So that's a pretty broad theme. We are pinning it to the guidelines from the Baker administration on reopening, and specifically phase 2 and phase 3 activities that are now allowed. They include curbside pickup and indoor browsing at retail stores, indoor and outdoor seating at restaurants, opening bank lobbies, childcare facilities, construction projects, opening churches, hair salons, offices, funeral homes, beaches, golf and driving range, letting people use our parks, day camps, outdoor recreational facilities, professional sports, outdoor spaces, in historical spaces, hotels, and close contact personal spaces like nail salons and massage parlors and tattoo parlors. And then also museums and gyms and movie theaters, which were added under phase 3. There are guidelines on easily found on the state. This is not a excuse me. This is not a comprehensive list, but we are asking that all applicants identify an innovation that's related to these reopening activities under phase 2 and phase 3. So the timeline for the challenge is a 6 weeks program. This is a very condensed and program compared to what we would normally do. The application deadline is Friday, July 10th, so that's just 2 days away. It's a very simple application process, and we'll have a link for that at the end of the you can write down, and we'll send it, and we've sent it to you, I believe. After 6 weeks, we'll have a final program, and each of the participating companies will present their ideas. One of those companies will win $25,000. The winner will be chosen by a panel of expert judges. All the companies, though, that participate after graduating the challenge will have enhanced access to grant opportunities, to contracts and to the marketplace. And they will, for example, be promoted on state vendor lists and other areas where we can help you develop and grow your market. The acceleration phase includes a lot of work with mentors, domain experts, and innovation centers, as well as a curriculum that we have developed over the years that is, I'd say, very lean and very much focused on moving you quickly to the go-to-market for your product or service. The schedule for this challenge, again, the deadline's Friday. We'll select finalists the following a week later and announce those. We'll have a kickoff meeting on July 22nd for an hour, a workshop a couple days later, and then workshops the following 2 Fridays. All the workshops are just 2 hours long. And then finally a pitch event on Friday, August 21st. If you wish to participate, we require that you join us for all 5 of the sessions, July 22nd, 24th, 31, August 7, and August 21. The award criteria is obvious stuff: product market fit. How well can your team and company execute your concept? How quickly can you get to market? Its potential to support the Massachusetts COVID response, and also the market opportunity outside Massachusetts. And you know, we're seeing a number of states now sort of moving back to more conservative policies about COVID safety. I think we've now seen Massachusetts rise to become a leader in the country for our response and its effectiveness. And I think Made in Massachusetts with respect to COVID is going to be a bigger and bigger deal. So I think there's an important opportunity there. A little bit about Lever. You probably not heard of us. We are a smaller economic development nonprofit based in North Adams, Massachusetts, way in the upper left corner of the state. But we've made a name for ourselves organizing challenges for about 10 years now. We've done challenges in manufacturing, health, clean energy. We work with more than 80 companies. Actually, it's close to 100 now. And we've awarded $300,000 in grants to date. And our companies have gone on to raise millions in funding and to create dozens of jobs. Important about Lever is that we really focus as much on entrepreneurs, startup type businesses, as well as intrapreneurs. And intrapreneurs are innovators who work from within an existing company. And they have a lot of advantages over entrepreneurs. Most notably, they have a resource to draw from and to build on, an infrastructure. And we feel this is particularly timely now when so much has changed about the economy, when so many companies have seen their markets change dramatically or diminish greatly. And I think, as Megan mentioned earlier, a really important part of this program is to accelerate companies that want to pivot to new goods and services, to support the COVID response, and to retain jobs and maybe even grow the company in time. And that's all part of the state's and Lever's economic development strategy. So here's where you can apply. It's a long URL. I apologize for that. We will send this to you as well by email if it's not already in your inbox. The last thing I'll mention is that there's actually 3 collaborating groups here. The MassTech Collaborative that Megan represents, Lever that I represent, and also Massachusetts Manufacturing Extension Partnership. And they are, for participants, MassMEP brings in a lot of additional resources in terms of scaling, production, and after the challenge is over, access to some grant opportunities. This is a federally funded organization that operates in Massachusetts, and it's been a great partner for us. So that's my very, very quick overview. I'm going to stop there, and I'll leave this up for a minute, and we'll take questions. If you would like to ask a question, then what you want to do is find the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen and just quickly type that in. And we will we'll see those and we'll begin to respond to those as they come in. One question I wanted to answer right away is about the time commitment for participating companies. And what I want to suggest is that we expect that the intrapreneur or the team of entrepreneurs from your company, should it decide to participate, will need to allocate about 10 hours per week to participate in this program and to be competitive for the $25,000 award. So if there's one individual, they should allocate 10 hours per week. And if there are a team of individuals, they should allocate in aggregate about 10 hours per week. Another question that's just come in is, will Lever or will this program help companies find customers? It's always the hardest part, finding those customers and building up those market channels. And the answer is, we will help you help yourself. We work with a lot of early stage companies, and customer validation, customer acquisition, customer development is one of the most important themes that in our programs. And we work with so many people on these strategies. So we will share with you the tools from our kit that we've found to be very successful in helping folks identify and cultivate customers, and also by focusing on particular market segments that can be very valuable if you're just getting started in a new area and you don't yet have a customer base. Focusing on a particular market segment, defining that market segment, and having a clear strategy to reach it is an important part of our program. I'm happy to answer other questions. Okay, here's a great question. Will you be putting as much consideration into innovations that aren't high tech? And I really appreciate that question. And the answer is unequivocally yes. Any solution, whether it's high tech or low tech, is important. And honestly, some low tech solutions are much quicker to market, and time is of the essence here in this response. So absolutely, you will be in no disadvantage if with a quote unquote low tech concept, if you'll forgive me that coinage, versus a high tech concept. Another question we have is, what do you mean by scalable innovations? And I appreciate this question as well. What we mean are innovations that can basically scale up and serve a large segment of the community, certainly statewide and beyond. So one of the things that we've encountered is we've had a few companies ask us, well, you know, we want to reopen our company so that we can get back to business. Can we participate in your challenge? And our answer to that is, it depends on what your company does. If your company makes a good or service that will support reopening the state, then we'd love for you to be in our challenge. But if your goal is simply to reopen your company so that you can get back to business, making things that aren't related to reopening the state, then you wouldn't be a good fit. I'm happy to answer any other questions that folks may have. Okay, here's one. Can you explain in further detail access to contracts, grants, and state vendor lists? I can a bit. So the MERT has developed a process for companies making PPE in particular to become qualified as vendors for the state of Massachusetts. It's a simple process that's been streamlined quite a bit. It doesn't guarantee that the Mass State will buy from you, but it will get you on MERT's database of vendors. And so that's part of what we're offering here. Contracts would be a similar type of concept where we would position you to have all the collateral you would need to be competitive for contracts. They often require a lot of the same information that we will have you develop for the pitch event at the end. And so you'll have all the collateral you need to quickly respond to an RFP for a contract and be more competitive. And then similarly on the grants, everything that you will develop with us in this program will make you more competitive for grants. I'm not quite saying it. I'm not saying you'll have turnkey grant proposals ready. However, you'll be able to much more quickly put something together that is competitive. And I want to add again that Mass MEP, our collaborator here, will work with you directly to help you identify grant opportunities that are a good fit for you, and also offer you support as you figure out how to navigate the process of grant proposals. These are not SBIR. The question is, are these SBIR grants only? And the answer is, it is SBIR and more. And I'm not qualified to be specific on that right now, but we will in the program have Mass MEP participate in the workshops, and they can elaborate on the different opportunities. But there are both state and federal grant opportunities for companies that are supporting the COVID response. Let me just ask Megan, my partner here today, to see if she has any other notes that she wants to add, things that I may have forgotten to mention.
I think you did a pretty good job covering all of the key points. I will mention that, so this is our second challenge. We're in the middle of the first challenge right now. In just watching the experience of the cohort go through Lever's accelerator program has been great. You know, it's a great opportunity for a 5-6 week accelerator to just learn some business skills that you may not have known that you needed, or just discover your customers, go through prototypes of your innovation, and get access to mentors throughout the whole state and even beyond the state that you probably wouldn't have access to normally.
That's right. Yeah, the first cohort is 13 companies, all of which are interested in making face masks, and we're having a wonderful time with them. And I think they're all just terrific companies, all of which have this altruistic mission, in addition to, you know, getting back to work and growing revenues for their different companies, getting people employed again, and also doing good, you know, for the state and being part of all this, you know, wonderful collaborative effort to keep everybody safe. We have a couple more questions. Would devices to assist the medical community cope with COVID-19 be considered? Healthcare community innovations are not directly listed on this website as topic areas. The answer is maybe. Again, the application process is pretty brief. And so I would hope that you would go ahead and submit your application, and we'll try to include it if we can. You're right, it doesn't directly fit in with what we're looking for on this, which is things listed in the governor's directives for reopening, but we have some flexibility. The next question is, if we are focusing on types of PPE, including gowns and masks, will that be something that will be considered? Yes, is the short answer. We've already done a lot of work. MERT has already done a lot of work. MERT, the Manufacturing Emergency Response Team, has done a lot of work with companies like Marrow and New Balance and some other fun companies that have really pivoted in a big way to make PPE. And of course, our first challenge is focused on face masks, but there's more need, there's more demand. We've been mapping the demand. It's growing, and it's going to be significant for a long time. I think, frankly, until there's a vaccine that is both effective and has been widely administered, we're going to be needing PPE. So we would absolutely consider you for this challenge. Thank you. All right, well, I'm not seeing any other questions. We won't keep you any longer. We do very much hope that you will apply. Look for another email from us in your inbox with a link to the application. Also, if you have any questions that occur to you after the webinar and you want to just email me or any of us, feel free to do so, and we'll try to respond as quickly as we can. Thanks very much for your time today, and we hope to see you in the challenge. Take care, everyone.